Shalom. Call all y'all about Shin Show. Voice a little off right now, but I just want to make this video because I seen it pop up when I got off work. But it's talking about, it says Harvard scientists funded by Bill Gates to begin spraying particles into the sky to dim the sun, which is bullshit because they're not dimming the sun. These chemicals they spraying are actually affecting people's health. And there's been reports of people going to the doctor and certain stuff. They'll get their blood tested, and then I have these same particles that they spray in the sky in their bloodstream and shit like that. So, or it'll be in their hair, it'll be on their skin. And it's all type of shit. The list goes on. But these damn Edomites, that's who control this shit. And only a fucking Edomite would spray the fucking sky that they gotta breathe in. Like the atmosphere, we supposed to use the atmosphere to be able to go outside and breathe and all that. And you can't even get no damn fresh air. You go out, like this morning when I got off work, I looked up in the sky, they spraying this shit. Shit look just like this. Yeah, people be like, oh, chemtrails ain't real. It's contrails. It's a conspiracy theory and all the other shit. And that's basically what we're talking about in this video. And I'm gonna put a few scriptures and I'm gonna let another video play. They popped up and it's talking about the plague. They say it's called the missing plague. It's right there. I wouldn't even go into it, but hey, I'm gonna bring it out through the spirit.
Here, if you're watching it on YouTube, may have a little disclaimer on chemtrails below it. I'm guessing because I put out videos before not even putting the word chemtrail into it, and they've attached it to it, acting like it's some kind of conspiracy. Problem is this. All these things they want to call conspiracy have been checking out to be factual. Now, chemtrails. Yep.
And just like the scripture said in the book of Job, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, and they cover the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is it? And that's coming out to be a fact. Because who else do all this shit? Niggas ain't got no planes flying around spraying chemicals and shit, driving boats and dumping trash in different countries and shit. Niggas ain't do no shit like that. That's these damn Edomites.
YouTube still wants to put a little tip,
AKA the wicked.
on videos and try to say that chemtrails are condensation, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe you missed Brennan telling the whole world, you know, the Alphabet Gang chief that came out in front of everyone and said, yeah, we're spraying these metals. He admitted it. So how can you have a high-level administration individual admit this to the whole world, and yet you still want to call it a conspiracy? Makes no sense. It's not a conspiracy. He admitted it. He admitted it.
All right, I ain't gonna play too much of that. But yeah, man, these devils admit it. Just like I was just talking to myself about it, just meditating on some stuff. And the one video about the one guy that was talking about the food that they put in McDonald's and other different food companies and stuff. They have human DNA in it, and they say, yeah, they actually do grind up human flesh and put it in the food. And he said you could tell the people, but they still gonna eat it anyway. And I'm like, man, that shit wild as hell, but that's what these devils do, though. That's the damn Edomites for you. I'm gonna go into this other video real quick, and I'm just saying this out. This is just something short. I'm just talking about the news and stuff. Talk about the news and what's been going on lately. Like with all these shootings and all this shit. Because all that stuff, they setting it up because they get ready to pull off a major event. That's just the build up right now. It's gonna be something real major to have people shook up, and it's gonna help them push that martial law shit even more. That's what it's leading up to. You got this video right here. It's called Ameripox, but they're talking about smallpox. And it's called the missing plague. Well, the plague ain't missing. The CDC got this shit. And what's gonna happen is Yahweh gonna put the spirit on these devils to put these viruses out in the population. That's why you see a little certain stuff pop up like the bubonic plague or whatever. The measles or the mumps. What else popped up recently? You got stuff like with this flesh-eating bacteria and stuff like that. It's other stuff that's been popping up too. They had the little flu pandemic thing going on for a hot little minute, and a bunch of people died. Then they silenced it a little bit. So it's hella stuff popping up. And I'm going to a few scriptures too and talk about that because all that stuff about to happen on a high level. It's in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. It says, and you shall hear of wars, rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now you got these famines popping off because even cross seas, there's places right now that's still blacked out, no power and shit like that. So that affect the food and all that different stuff. All that different stuff. So like it says, and pestilences. Well, part of the pestilences is when they spraying these damn chemtrails. They just put a lot of this shit in the atmosphere too, cause they see like it don't work on the ground level. So like they basically like, okay, we gotta attack from the air now. So they putting that shit in the air like that. You got earthquakes popping off. I just seen another video recently too. I'm gonna go to it in a minute. We're talking about over in Oregon. It said something about a fault line that's giving away, and it's gonna be a big quake or something that's gonna happen soon. So I'm gonna go to it in just a minute. I'm gonna let this video play a little bit.
1892, the Victorian age, the indigenous population of the New World dropped by at least 90%. The cause? Not the conquistadors and company. They killed lots of people, but their death count is nothing compared to what they brought with them. Smallpox, typhus, tuberculosis, influenza.
And see, this the devil for you. So he gonna say they ain't do it, but what they brought with them did it. No, they did the damn shit because they brought that shit.
Lots of
They was the harbingers of that shit. Same way with the CDC, they harboring fucking diseases in there. That's what it's called, the Center of Disease Control. They control the diseases, and when it comes to a certain point, they want to test it out. They put the shit out in the population, and oh yeah, Ebola. That was the other one. I was trying to think of what it is, but yeah, that's the other shit they like to put out and test out.
people, but their death count is nothing compared to what they brought with them. Smallpox, typhus, tuberculosis, influenza, bubonic plague, cholera, mumps, measles, and more leapt from those first explorers to the coastal tribes, then onward the microscopic invaders spread through a hemisphere of people with no defenses.
And see, the Most High ain't forget about none of this shit. That's why you read the book of Obadiah, and they talk about Esau being judged. But yeah, let me go to that real quick. Because Esau as a whole gonna be judged, not just one Edomite, not just the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. It's in the book of Obadiah. When you read down it, let's see where I'm gonna start at. It says in verse 8 in the book of Obadiah, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. And he say one, he said everyone. Because when it come down to it, man, once they do their time in captivity and all that, they gonna be cut off. It says, reading on, it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And you say, just cut off for a couple years, and they're gonna come back out. None of that shit. Because I see other videos too, and they be posting stuff like that. Oh yeah, some of the Edomites, they still gonna be lingering around. No, ain't none of that shit gonna be going on. And let me read on some. At verse 12 it says, thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Because we became strangers to the Lord. That's where you get the term Gentile from. It says, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Because when it came down to the slave trade, the main tribes, even though they came over here like this video showing, when they came over here, the other tribes was over here. Gad, Reuben, Simeon, Naphtali, Manasseh, Issachar, Ephraim. You know, they was over here already. But when Judah had the destruction, which we got brought over here in them cargo slave ships, you know, Judah was consisted of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, even though there's 3 separate tribes. But that's why they were called the Jews, because majority of everybody looked just alike. There wasn't no mixing or nothing like that. So, but everybody knew what tribe they was from. But these devils, they played a big part in our destruction. So, hey, you reap what you sow, like the scripture say. You know, let me see what else I'm gonna read on to. Okay, reading on verse 13, it says, "Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity." And they definitely over in our gates right now, over in Israel. It says, "Yeah, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity." Because a lot of these upper echelon, the upper so-called upper class elites, they got a lot of substance. They got a lot of the weapons, the swords, the armor, the gold, the silver, the different precious stones and all that. So this talking about them. It says, "Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress." Because some of our people did escape from a lot of this stuff too. That's why you have a lot of our people scattered over all throughout the earth. Because instead of going to the west coast of Africa, a lot of people, they went north to Russia. They went out through Italy, Spain, France, China, Japan, all these different areas and shit like that. So, but they still found our people and did what they did to them. And that's why you go to the end of the book of Obadiah, in verse 21, it says, "And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's." And it's another scripture too that says the saints shall take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever. So when we take the kingdom, what you think gonna happen? You think it's just gonna be a little walk in the park, and here you go, we sorry for everything we done to you. Here you go, everything you need. It ain't gonna go down like that. Well, let me let this play a little bit more.
Against them, tens of millions died. These germs decided the fate of these battles long before the fighting started. Now ask yourself, why didn't the Europeans get sick?
Because they was already fucking sick. That's why they didn't get sick.
If New Worlders were vulnerable to Old World diseases, then surely Old Worlders would be vulnerable to New World diseases. Yet there was no America pox spreading eastward, infecting Europe, and cutting the population from 90 million to 9.
And see, this got a lot of misinformation in it too. Because before they came over here, came to the West, this wasn't called America, it was called Asareth. They came with that American shit from the guy named Amerigo Vespucci. That's where America came from, and South America. And then Columbus, that's why you got a lot of places throughout America called Columbus. Like you got Columbus, Ohio. You got Columbia, Georgia, Columbia, Carolina. You got places like St. Augustine. You got Columbia down in South America. A lot of these different places was named after these devils. So this place wasn't called America until they came over and started taking over shit.
Had America pox existed, it would have rather dampened European ability for transatlantic expansion.
And it's really transatlantic slavery, not no damn expansion. Because their whole goal of coming over here was finding the other tribes. They knew where Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was at, but they was set out on this mission. Like, okay, we got to find other tribes. My other book here. I might just put it up online because I got it in my bag right now. I don't want to get it right now. Let me see. Bible verse. me see if I can. Probably I might have typed it in wrong. It's the one scripture that talk about when the Lord held the water, so they can navigate over here. I might just have to get up and go get my book and get it, cause he started making it a little bit more difficult typing it in. Normally I type it in and it pops straight up, but it ain't popping up right now. Let me see. Let me look a little bit harder. Better yet, let me go ahead and get this book. Hold on, bear with me 1 minute. Let me grab this book and go through it instead of looking it up online. I try not to look it up online anyway, because to me that's the lazy way, even though it's convenient. But I like to look in the book more. So I'll let this video play too while I'm looking for it.
To answer why this didn't happen, we need first to distinguish regular diseases, like the common cold, from what we'll call plagues. First, plagues spread quickly between people. Sneezes spread plagues faster than handshakes, which are faster than closeness. Plagues use more of this than this. Secondly, and importantly, they kill you quickly or you become immune. Catch a plague and you're dead within 7 to 30 days. Survive and you'll never get it again. Your body has learned to fight it. You might still carry it. The plague lives in you. You can spread it, but it can't hurt you. The surface answer to this question isn't that Europeans had better immune systems to fight off New World plagues. It's that the New World didn't have plagues for them to catch. They had regular diseases, but there was no Americapox to carry. These are history's biggest killers, and they all come from the old world. But why? Let's dig deeper and talk cholera. A plague that spreads if your civilization does a bad job of separating drinking water from pooping water. London was terrible at this, making it the cholera capital of the world. Cholera can rip through dense neighborhoods, killing swaths of the population before moving onward. But that's the key. It has to move on. In a small, isolated group, a plague like cholera cannot survive. It kills all available victims, leaving only the immune, and then there's nowhere to go. It's a fire that burns through its fuel. But a city, shining city on the hill, to which rural migrants flock, where hundreds of babies are born a day, this is sanctuary for the fire of plague. Fresh kindling comes to it. The plague flares and smolders and flares and smolders again, impossible to extinguish. Historically, in city borders, plagues killed faster than people could breed. Cities grew because more people moved to them than died inside of them. Cities only started growing from their own population in the 1900s, when medicine finally left its leeches and bloodletting phase and entered its soap and soup phase, giving humans some tools to slow death. But before that, a city was an unintentional playground for plagues and a grim machine to sort the immune from the rest. So the deeper answer is that the New World didn't have plagues because the New World didn't have big, dense, terribly sanitized, deeply interconnected cities for plagues to thrive.
And you know why? Because our people were still over here keeping the commandments. And these Edomites, they weren't keeping, they was lawless, unholy, like the scripture said. But it's in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13. I'm gonna start it on. This is where I'm gonna start at. I'm starting at verse 39. I'm just read through. It says, "And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes." Now they be talking about, oh, we don't know the 10 tribes that, all this other stuff. Well, you read the books that they took out of the King James version. I think it was the 1611 version. They took those books out and then they revised it and made a 1638. It said, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Oshea the king, whom Salmanazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And it says, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. It said, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth unto a further country. And it says, where never mankind dwelt, which we're talking about over here. It says that they might keep their statues. So they kept their statues over here. They ain't do this filthy shit these devils are doing. It says, which they never kept in their own land. Because our people started going off, they was in their own land. Then they started breaking the commandments. And they realized, like, man, we got to get back right. So we got to go somewhere else so we can get right. And it says, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. It said, for the Most High, then shewed them signs for them, and held the flood till they were passed over. Because if you look at the Euphrates and how it break off into the sea, when you look at it on the map, that voyage would have been like damn near impossible to try to go southward and then come around Africa, and then go west, and then come over here. Especially back then, it says and I will pull it up right now, but you can do some research on it. Just check out the map, type in the river Euphrates and see what sea it connect to, and see which direction this scripture was talking about. It says in verse 45, it says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and that's how long it took to get from the river Euphrates all the way over here in a boat, in those type of boats back then. It says in the same region, it's called Arsarif. So it wasn't called no America and no South America and all the other stuff. And that's what these devils came up with. And that's what America Vespucci came up with. And I'm gonna let this play a little bit more. And I'm gonna go to the other video I was talking about the earthquake.
Okay, but the New World wasn't completely barren of cities, and tribes weren't completely isolated. Otherwise, the newly arrived smallpox in the 1400s couldn't have spread. Cities are only part of the puzzle. They're required for plagues, but cities don't make the germs that start the plagues. Those germs come from the missing piece. Now, most germs don't want to kill you for the same reason you don't want to burn down your house. Germs live in you. Chronic diseases like leprosy are terrible because they're very good at living in you and not killing you. Plague.
And that's another misconception too. Leprosy is a curse. You read into the scriptures. when you see people with leprosy, that's because Yahweh Shem Yahushua put that leprosy on them. Just like all type of other stuff that go on, you can go down the list of judgment that get poured out, but that's definitely one of them. Just like when Miriam was talking shit to Moses for dealing with a certain type of woman, and he plagued her with that leprosy.
Reality is an accident, a misunderstanding, because the germs that cause plagues don't know they're in humans. They think they're in this. Plagues come from animals. Whooping cough comes from pigs, as does flu, as well as from birds. Our friend the cow alone.
And see, that's another misconception. Yeah, how about Shem Yahushua control all this, whether it be a virus, a so-called plague, or whatever you want to call it. Hey, he could spring it up on a damn, it ain't gotta be no animal. It could just come from a plant. And next thing you know, it just be an outbreak. So it could be numerous things. But I ain't gonna let this play too much longer. Let me go to this other video I was looking for. And there's some new stuff right here. Talking about currency war begins. China stops U.S. agri imports, which probably means agriculture imports. Says yuan crashes to new record low.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use Wikibuy. It's a browser extension that automatically compares Amazon's prices.
One of the last bits of an ancient plate that covers this planet is dying, and this is the Juan de Fuca plate off the coast of Oregon. This is a very interesting spot. This spot I figure as being very key to what is happening over here on the west coast, because it is just a small tiny bit of plate that is diving underneath the North American plate, and now they're saying they have discovered what they thought was a hole is now a crack that is 93 miles long, and that when this southern limb decides to completely tear off, it could generate some big quakes with some tsunami waves that would affect the East Coast big time. This could also trigger some events with the Cascadia, since it's tied all into it.
I know you've been to West Coast, but
Here, this area has been a spot I have watched for a long time, because I've always felt like this is just the perfect area to generate just this. Now we're seeing more proof and more evidence of that, and that if this southern piece does rip off at any time, they're saying it indeed will generate some big quakes that are going to be felt. Now, they go over a lot of this here in different ways, different video clips showing the motion of it, the history, some of the volcanic activity along the Ring of Fire there in Oregon and California, and how it's all connected. Even the sediment, the color of the magma that's coming up, they connect.
Because it's going to be a big one out there. And the Mossad gave a warning when they was having that little gay parade out there. It ain't no coincidence that quake happened right during while they was having that shit. No. If you look at Oregon, that region where he talking about, I'm putting it up on the map to see if you can see it. Hold on. You look at this region on the map, all this connects down here. This part of the reason why we moved from California, because out in Long Beach, in Los Angeles areas, it's a bunch of places that run through here in San Diego, all the way up to San Francisco. No, just say the plate don't slide as quick as they want. These elites, they do a lot of rituals up here in Salem. What's another place? They got the place Topanga that one nigga made a song about. That's out here in California. They do little shit up here. They got a military base. It was over here. Where was that? I'm trying to think of where exactly where it was at. It was somewhere in this region now. I forgot the exact name. But all it takes for them to do is test something on the ground, and they can trigger this. And them triggering this can cause a big catastrophe over here. So, hey, like the scripture say, man, it's gonna be earthquakes in diverse places. It's gonna be more quakes hitting over here real soon. And then they got this drill supposed to be coming up on the 7th. This national alert system stuff. So just be alert, be on the lookout for all the type of other stuff they pulling off. It's gonna be more shooting events, of course. 'Cause, they orchestrating a lot of this shit behind the scenes, making psyops like they like to do. CDC testing out viruses and shit. You was hearing about all the stuff in the news. Now you don't really hear about it no more. But only the Edomites do this type of shit. You have people saying they don't exist no more. So, I ain't gonna go on too much longer. This video long enough. Close when this is edifying. Shalom to the elect. Shalom to the apostles and the elders. And the Baba.